So I think it's safe to say that enough people have seen this movie where I can comfortably do a review with spoilers, because there's so many spoilers out already, but it's been at least 2 weekends. So I feel like everyone who cares about this movie has definitely seen it. But to get the elephant out of the room, yes, this movie was fantastic. You know, Deadpool versus Wolverine. I mean, well, technically Deadpool and Wolverine, but they do fight each other mostly. Those are the most of the fights in the movie are of Deadpool and Wolverine. So it should have just been called Versus, but still, it was a fantastic movie. It was the best, ending to the Deadpool trilogy. I mean, I still am a fan of the first Deadpool because it was the original. You know, it was the first. It was just outrageous. It was great, but this was definitely awesome. It was fan service at its best. I mean, most of us grew up with Hugh Jackman being Wolverine, so it was awesome to finally see him in the cowl and in the full Wolverine costume, multiple costumes actually, kind of. So it was just awesome. But yeah, it was pretty straightforward, right? Pretty much Deadpool fixes his timeline, right, from the last film using Cable's time watch thing, and the TVA are pretty much onto him. Now I didn't really watch any of Loki. I saw like some episodes, but pretty much, if you didn't watch Loki, you don't know who the TVA are, essentially. But, the TVA end up coming and capturing him, and they tell him, like, hey, your timeline is actually about to be destroyed because your anchor being died, which is like this being that like is tethered and that keeps your universe alive, apparently. But if there's infinite universes, I guess if that anchor being dies, like many people just do in life, I guess universes just get destroyed and get remade all the time. But so when he finds out that his universe is pretty much going to be destroyed, he has these people that he loves and the family that he has. So obviously he doesn't want that to happen. So he decides to go dig up Logan because he's like, how is Logan dead? He has a healing factor. There's no way. And it's kind of funny because if Logan died in his universe from the film Logan, that movie was supposed to be in the future. So that means this is like the future that Deadpool is in. So the Deadpool and Wolverine aren't even they're not even in sync in their own timeline, which is pretty interesting. So he digs up Wolverine and then, finds out that he is in fact dead. And when the TVA find him again, Deadpool again, he proceeds to kill them all with Wolverine's adamantium skeleton, and it's just awesome to NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye, and it's just, damn, this song was stuck in my head for like about a couple hours. So he ends up killing them, and then, proceeds to go on a quest to try to find, a Wolverine, a Logan to bring to his timeline to save his timeline. And that montage was pretty great because you get to see different variations of Wolverine in all these random universes. And one of them is the original brown and yellow suit. And in his reflection of the claws, you see the Hulk, and that was pretty awesome. I kind of wish that the Hulk would have fought. Like, you could have seen the Hulk fight, or like in a shadow, see the Hulk like rip Wolverine in half. That would have been pretty awesome. But it was still great to see that cameo because I love the Hulk. And so he finally ends up finding his Wolverine, which apparently is like the worst Wolverine of all of them because he got his X-Men killed. So it's like, it is what it is. But he ends up getting that Wolverine to come back with him on the pretense that he will help save his world, be able to save his friends from dying and save his X-Men and his timeline. So they end up going on this mission, right, to stop Paradox and to get to their timeline when they end up being shot into the void, right? Paradox is he's like the leader of the TVA section that they're at. He's really no one of much importance. He's not a villain. He's not really like anything. I mean, if I was Wade, I would have just shot him in the head and killed him, but you can't. I mean, if anything, they kind of had a missed opportunity again because I feel they should have cast Ricky Gervais as Paradox. I think he would have been way better. Like, it could have exchanged funny quips with Deadpool and just that don't give a fuck attitude that Ricky Gervais has. It would have totally fit well for Paradox. That would have been so cool. Oh yeah, that was great though when he's like putting on his outfit and getting his ass slapped by the tailor, who's like definitely a predator. But so they end up getting shot into the void, and it turns out in the void there's all these other heroes and villains that were cast out there, whoever don't play nice with the TVA, as they say. And the big bad there is Cassandra Nova, and Cassandra Nova is Charles Xavier's twin sister, apparently. And she's been just living in the void forever since she was put there. And it's funny because in the Loki series, I'm pretty sure they never mentioned her. But if she's there in the void and the TVA know about her, kind of interesting that no one ever brought her up before. Or that Kang was even able to do as much damage as he did in the TVA, knowing that she is actually part of the, it's just kind of, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't watch it. But Cassandra Nova is pretty much, trying to collect mutants and heroes for her own, well-being. And it's crazy because her like Thunderdome area is like a dead Ant-Man. It's freaking crazy. I kind of want to see a movie where we find out what happened to Ant-Man. But that's where, Wolverine ends up fighting Beast. He fights Toad, the original Toad from the first X-Men. They run into Johnny Storm, who is played by Chris Evans from, the first Fantastic Four, which was a pretty funny callback. And so when they end up getting out of that situation, they end up running into the next set of cameos, right? Which is freaking Wesley Snipes' Blade, which was awesome. I feel like they missed an opportunity of playing the Blade theme song when he walked out. They could have just been like, would have been awesome. Channing Tatum as Gambit, the movie that was never made, that should have been made because he did a fantastic job, but it was almost too comedic. But again, because it's a Deadpool film, it just worked. But I don't know if his standalone film would be, I don't know how it would be because the seriousness was not there. It was just too funny. And then, of course, Jennifer Garner came in as Elektra, which was super random. It was so awesome. So that was very cool. And then, she made her little quips at Ben Affleck, and apparently, Daredevil had died in the void. So that was pretty funny. So Wolverine and Deadpool end up getting them to help them, get back home to the TVA and back to their universe so they could try and stop Paradox from destroying their universe with this thing called a Time Ripper that he created. Super random. Like, all these plot points were so random. I'm surprised Deadpool didn't just shoot him in the beginning. I guess it would have been no movie, but still. And so when they end up, getting Cassandra Nova to help them because Pyro's there, and Pyro ends up like shooting her. It's like this whole like backstabbing thing that he tries to do, and she's like, nah, and he's like, shit, and she like, pretty much uses him to get back and realizes that she actually could have left the void at any time. But she also killed Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange ended up there, one of the variants of Doctor Strange, and she stole his fucking portal maker, so she just portals out of there. She doesn't actually use any powers. So that was kind of a cheat. But she ends up getting it back to the reality and tries to use the Time Ripper to destroy all realities because all of a sudden now she's just like, you know what, fuck everybody, fuck the world, everything's going to be the void. So Deadpool and Wolverine have to, join forces to stop her, but there's not really a battle with her, which I thought was unfortunate, right? There's no big bad, really. She actually brings all the other Deadpool variants, Lady Pool, Kid Pool, Dog Pool, Samurai Pool, Black-Eyed Pool. All these pools come out of the portal as well from the void, and then Wolverine and Deadpool have this epic fight with all of them, only to find out that they all aren't dead. They all just regenerate. So that was pretty random. And then they're able to still kind of walk away from it. Only to then hold hands and have Wolverine become shirtless to stop Cassandra Nova while listening to Madonna. It was very classic Deadpool fashion. I mean, I definitely enjoyed it, but I definitely would say that it was kind of a lackluster movie. That's why I kind of just like the first one. I feel like there were no stakes, really. I mean, it was just kind of like, you're just there because you really wanted to see Deadpool and Wolverine together. Like, the plot could have been anything, and I think they just kind of wasted Cassandra Nova, but by just kind of having her there. I mean, her whole finger, face, head, sex play was pretty interesting, but other than that, she was really not intriguing at all. And like I said, as for all these heroes and mutants being in the void, it's like crazy that they were just never mentioned before. In the Loki series, I guess, or no one ever came across them, or there were never cameos or possible sightings of them, but I guess it is what it is. But so they end up stopping Cassandra. They end up kind of like preserving his Deadpool's timeline. Wolverine's timeline is still kind of, in shambles because he did, there's nothing really he can do. And then he just kind of stays with Wade and becomes the Wolverine of his timeline. So, I mean, it was cool. Like I said, I definitely liked it. It was like a buddy cop movie, but of Deadpool and Wolverine. Most of the fight scenes, like I said, were Wolverine and Deadpool fighting. They were epic. I mean, the Honda Odyssey part was fucking awesome. The Honda Odyssey fucks hard. But other than that, like all the other fights were cool. I mean, seeing Gambit, Channing Tatum's Gambit fight and Wesley Snipes fight was pretty awesome. I mean, other than that, like, the movie was pretty straightforward. A lot of just Deadpool shooting and cracking jokes and being an asshole. I mean, it was pretty solid. Wolverine was great, though. I loved Wolverine in it. Logan, Hugh Jackman just cussing every minute, saying fuck every other word. When he gets Nice Pool killed, the way he's like, you just, he was terrified because of being murdered, you dumb fuck. Like, the way he says it, you're just like, damn, you felt that. And then when they're in the Honda Odyssey and he, like, calls out Deadpool for being, like, such an asshole and, like, such a, fucking child in a sense. and they fight like that. That whole sequence was just cool. Like, you know, it really, the emotion was awesome. I mean, their chemistry is just great. So, I mean, you know, it was great. That's all I can say. It was great. The homage, paying homage to 20th Century Fox was great. And again, I feel like this is just this was the last hurrah of what once was Marvel and the greatness that was, you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now it's just going to be new heroes, young Avengers, and, you know, I don't know. We'll see. Female Black Panther. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, I don't know what's wrong with you. Fucking go watch it. Deadpool and Wolverine, absolutely awesome. It's supposed to crack like $1 billion. First Marvel movie to crack $1 billion since Endgame or whatever. So, you know, not even Wakanda Forever did that shit. So, yeah, check it out. Deadpool and Wolverine. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. Also, I think Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom is a really dumb idea. You know, he's a Doom playing a Doom disguised as another Doom, or he's a Doom playing a Doom disguised as another Iron Man. You know, it's kind of like that whole like Joe Rogan podcast thing where he predicted that they would bring Robert Downey back because of all the lackluster films and TV shows. Absolutely fucking correct. So, gotta give another point to Rogan. Anyway, this has been Ghost of Craig again. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you guys in the next vid. Peace.